All right, welcome in, boys. Take it to the bank, Kansas. As always, I'm Keg with my co-host, Coop. What's going on, Coop?
Not much, man.
How you doing,
Been
buddy?
a pretty quiet week. I look forward to Kansas. I think it's one of the better tracks out there. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But Kansas has been good to us before.
Yep.
Kurt Busch.
Yep.
That
45 card has done it for us.
Yeah. Bubba Wallace has done it good for us here.
Yep.
So Kansas has been a good track for us. Unfortunately, though, we ain't getting the numbers we got on those two guys.
No,
not this year. Not this year.
Not this year.
So I after last week's race, like I think Monday night or Tuesday night, one of the nights, I went back and I looked. This is year 3 of the new car.
Right.
So I went back to year 3 of the prior car.
Right.
To see what, happened. Well, year 3 of the old car, we had 2 drivers. Each win 8 races.
Really?
Yeah. So you could say maybe that's Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson this year. I don't know. And then there were 3 drivers that won 3 races each. Maybe Will Byron, maybe Reddick, Truex. You could throw a bunch of drivers' names into that to win 3 races.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, it's really early in the season, about a third of the way there. But I think we're kind of headed towards that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The other thing was Chevy. They only won 4 races that year. So, maybe that's Ford this year, Of those 4 races they won, Chase Elliott won 3 of them. So maybe that's Ryan Blaney. I don't know. But there's some potential parallels that could be playing out that are similar to the third year of that car to the third year of this car.
All right. So let's recap. April was not good for your boy. I lost a lot of money. But thank God I had a good January and we made like 60 units. I know, like, I don't know. I just thought, like, I had a bit of a meltdown last weekend, Coop, on stream last Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like, enough was enough. But you know what, bro? I'm feeling optimistic about May. I'm feeling out because it can't possibly continue like this. It's impossible. When you and me and Kushner were talking the other night, and you were like, I went back to look at August of last year, and we hit 4 weeks in a row where we hit a 15-1 winner or more. Like, what happened? Like, that's what we used to do every week, Coop. What the fuck is going on? Now, to be fair, Coop hit a 12-1 shot last week. He got Denny Hamlin home. Coop had a good month. He had a good April. He got the job done for the boys. I did not. I got my dick kicked in April and March. But yeah, Coop, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say because it doesn't happen to us. So I'm just gonna stay positive and keep plugging along. And I think I think we have to get back on track. 6 years of track record says we have to get back on track.
Yeah, you're not betting horses tomorrow, right?
No, I am not. No.
Okay. Just wanted to make that clear. Yeah, I mean, some of it has been bad luck. Some of it has just been bad picks.
For sure. Yep.
But, we're being, what's the word I'm looking for? Challenged much more at this point of the year than what we had been the last 2, 3, 4 years.
For sure.
simply because, and it goes back to what I just talked about, the data is out there for these cars now. The numbers, aren't anywhere close to what we were even last year or the year before.
Right.
You just can't bet it solo, and the other pieces haven't fallen our way yet. But like you said, it can't continue. We're too good.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think like there have been opportunities this year, like in the live betting market? Like if I would have had Fanatics last weekend, I would have hit Denny live at 14-1. Like you could have got him at 14-1 right before he made that big push the last like 120 laps. Do you think that like do you think we have to go back to like more heavy in-game betting in Cup? Because like there have been times this year where we've been able to catch a price 25-1 on Byron. We would have gotten Denny at 14-1 if I had Fanatics last weekend. Like it's been like that a lot, it seems like. But don't get me wrong, you could get into a spot where, hey man, you might only get the winner at 3-1. I get that too. But you know what? You're not going to drop 8 units trying to hit a 20-1 at the same time. So like,
I just think we can take more shots at like 14s, 20s, and stuff like that. But even like that, man, like they're not even the ones that are 20s and 30s before that we would bet. Like they're 15s now or 14s.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's no more Bowman where frickin' Diego just sits there and hits
right. Well, Coop, the last 3 weeks, halfway through the race, they've only had 6 guys you could bet on the board.
Yeah.
It's fucking
that's not good.
It's insanity.
Right. There's no Busher like last year at Bristol.
60-1.
60-1. Right. And we're like, oh, all right, let's hit it again at 35.
Yeah.
Like the books are getting smarter at moving the lines during the races. I don't know if it's from data that they have that, they're
moving the lines faster than they were the last couple of years. Like normally you and I had 2 minutes to recognize what was happening on the screen and hit the button, but they're right there with us now. Like they're right there with us. And you and I have had to find different ways to beat this sport every year the last like 3.5 years. But for some reason this year, it's taken us longer.
Yeah. And I mean, 365, like they've always been really good for live betting. But even 365, there are pre-race bets lines now. They're not that great, compared to what they used to be. Like, it's not uncommon to go to frickin' Caesars and see a better number on Caesars than 365.
Right. Maybe not the outright market necessarily, but a lot of the props.
DraftKings just isn't in the game anymore. They gave up last year, and haven't got it back. I actually, like last year, I didn't have Bet Rivers last year. Y'all had Bet Rivers, and y'all used to Bet Rivers a lot, man. But like, it doesn't seem like y'all are doing that this year.
I mean, I use them. I not as much as I did last year because I don't think the numbers are as good. But I still try to use them because their UFC odds are pretty solid, so it's easier to tie some stuff to. But the numbers aren't as good this year at BR as they were last year for sure.
Like even Betfred, like I don't know if I've made one bet on Betfred this year.
You haven't. I don't know if I've even heard you say Betfred this year.
Like they've reduced, their pre-race offerings. They don't do any live betting, so I don't think I've made one, and if I did, it's just one. You know, uh, FanDuel has limited, props out there pre-race. They do, a couple head-to-heads, a couple groups, and top 5, top 10. And I mean, that's the other thing. Like top 10s, like they're just so bad.
They're so bad.
So bad. But anyways.
All right, Kansas. We move on. Another 1.5-mile track. Another intermediate package race. Dover last week. We were in the intermediate. But, I mean, Dover is a very different track than a normal cookie-cutter 1.5 mile, like a Texas, like a Vegas, like a Kansas, like a Charlotte. So from a well, first, let's just talk about the track. What are your thoughts on the track? What in terms of like comps, would you say that you just look at Kansas, you look at Vegas, you look at Texas? Is that where you're at?
Kansas more than anything else. Las Vegas, excuse me, more than anything else. It does have some tire wear. Nothing like Darlington or anything like that by any means. But for a 1.5 mile, it does. But it's really just Las Vegas for me. Charlotte, I think, Charlotte, I see them running the wall so much more now the last year, than what we have. But like when I think of this place, like it's the restarts. You can go from 5th or 6th to 1st, if you plan it right. So the restarts are huge here.
Restarts are big. And would you agree that like normally the best of this track is going to be the High Line? Like this track's tailor made for Reddick and Larson?
I don't know if it's tailor made for them, like a Miami or a Darlington.
Right.
But, like I said, they're starting to wear more. Charlotte, we saw a lot more tire wear, I thought, and them running the high side. We could definitely see that here too.
All right, manufacturer. From a manufacturer standpoint, I think I'm going to rank it Toyota, Chevy, Ford.
It's really tough, man.
And Ford Coupe, let's be honest. Ford doesn't even deserve to be on the track on Sunday, okay? Like, there's nobody that's going to be there's nobody that's going to be in a Ford, I think, that could win the race. I know normally you and I, if we're going to go to like one Ford on a 1.5 mile, it used to be Blaney, and then like Buescher came on the second half of the year, Kez kinda, but I don't know, man. I don't really see Fords being competitive here based on what we've seen so far in this package. So I'll tell you why I give Toyota the edge, only because in my mind, the top 3 cars in this race, 2 of them are Toyotas and 1 of them is a Chevy, in my opinion. So like I kind of think that's why I put Toyota above, but it's close. Kyle Larson can go out there and shit on the entire field. So, I mean, I get it, but I would rank it Toyota, Chevy, and a distant third Ford. Where are you at?
I'd say the same. I think I would have to put Reddick and definitely Reddick above Byron.
I agree. I think I might put Denny above Byron too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I wasn't talking about Denny and Kyle because I think they're kind of in a league of their own.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to say that with what we've seen Tyler Reddick do this year.
Yeah, you're definitely right. The wild card for me is again Elliott and Bowman.
Elliott and Bowman against Truex and Gibbs, or Truex and Bell, excuse me. And then you still have Gibbs, I think, who has shown to run very good on these 1.5 miles. Yeah, for sure. He's been fast.
So the depth is much more there for Toyota than what it is for Chevy.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's HMS. Ross Chastain, big disappointment last week.
Yep.
We'll have to see what happens there. Kyle Busch, you know, played the role of Ross, what we thought Ross Chastain was going to be last week. You know, he kept the car clean. He started up front. He stayed up front the entire race. You know, had a very good weekend. So, you know, I know you're not a big Kyle Busch fan right now, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if he's there again, you know, competing for top 5, and if things go right, maybe to win. I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think that Childress is making a turnaround?
Well, I mean, he kept the car clean. He had good track position, and he maintained it. He had good pit stops. He maintained it. So I don't know if he really fell out of the top 10 the whole day, to be honest with you.
He might not have.
You know, on a green flag run. You know, I'm sure during pit cycles and stuff like that, I'm sure he probably did for here and there. But no, it was one of his best races of the entire year, in my opinion. So it's definitely got to improve on his confidence. So, but yeah, back to Ford. I think Ford's race tomorrow is tomorrow for qualifying. That's what they've been good at in these mile and a halves. And then when the race starts, you know, they slowly and surely just fall back. But Briscoe has impressed me. And
I was just gonna bring him up. You know that he was like 120 to 1 to get the pole.
The what?
Chase Briscoe earlier in the week was 120 to 1 to get the pole.
And you didn't bet it? You say anything?
I didn't bet it or say anything, no. But I thought about it.
I mean, shoot, that's where, I mean, like, they've been pretty good, him and Gregson.
I know.
You know, at qualifying. So you never know how that stuff's going to shake out. We should have hit that.
But I wonder. Let me check what his odds are right now.
But so they've had 4 races here.
50.
50 still ain't bad though. 4 races here. And how many drivers in a Ford car do you think have led a lap?
God. I'll say Blaney and Busher.
No. Blaney has. It's six drivers total. Okay. So Michael McDowell has led 1 lap in 2 of the races. I'll guarantee you that was during a green flag cycle or something.
Right.
Eric Amarola led 1 lap and 3 laps.
Probably the same.
Yep. JJ Yelly led a lap.
Same.
All right. Ryan Blaney, he led 1 lap and 2 laps.
Probably the same.
Joey Logano led 8 laps.
Probably the same.
In one race. All right. And Brad Keselowski led 23 laps. So he's the only one in 4 races that I feel confident in saying actually led laps that were meaningful.
So Ford's a dead duck.
The only way Ford wins this race is if we get like some type of caution at the end of the race, and like some cars decide to come and some don't, and the Fords stay out.
Yeah.
And there's enough Fords that keep the people that got tires away, and it's only a couple laps.
Yeah.
So they're not going to win on a long run, you know, no way.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. All right, so looking at the odds, your top 3 favorites: Kyle Larson 3.5 to 1. I'm just looking at DK. Denny 4.5 to 1. Reddick 7 to 1. Those 3 guys to me are the clear top 3 guys. I think you have to have a piece of them. And
How far back do you think Byron is from Tyler Reddick?
I see. This is the big for me. I put Larson, Denny, and Reddick in a group, and then right after that group, I think it's Willie B and Marty is kind of where I'm at. I don't think Byron's that far off. Like if you look at, he was the third fastest at Texas. He was the 8th fastest at Vegas this year. His average speed rank is 5th. Looking at in high speed 1.5 mile tracks, he's ranked 3rd behind Larson and Denny since the first race at Vegas in 2023. Tyler Reddick is 4th, right behind him. Your fucking boy KB is actually 5th, right behind Reddick and Byron and Larson and Hamlin. I really think that Larson, Denny, and Reddick deserve to be in that group. And I would say that Byron and Marty, I would put right behind them. And then I think it's up for debate. Like, I don't know where I would have Bell. I don't know where I would have Gibbs or Elliott, like the other contenders.
So, like, this is how I look at it. All right. I agree with you that Larson, Hamlin, and Reddick are the top 3.
Right.
All right. There's 11 cars that can win this race. All right. 4 from Joe Gibbs, 4 from Hendrick, 2 from 23XI, well, maybe 12. And then Busch, possibly Chastain if he gets his shit together. All right. Nobody else other than that's winning this race.
So you really think all 4 Gibbs cars could win you think Bell could win the race?
Yeah. Because after those 3, all right, I would put William Byron 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm with you.
But like, I don't feel confident. I could put Marty 5th, but like, I could put Chase Elliott 5th. I could put Ty Gibbs 5th. I could put Chris Bell 5th. Like, Marty, I think
he was so good at Kansas though last year, Coop.
Yeah, I think amongst all those other cars, once we get past those 4, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Ty Gibbs runs 5th. It wouldn't surprise me if Alex Bowman runs 5th.
Where you at on Bubba?
Bubba hasn't been good on the 1.5 miles over the last 3 or 4 of them. Some of that, is accident, induced issues.
Yeah.
But I can't count him out, man. He's won here before. He's had speed at the 1.5 miles before. Bubba's just so streaky. Like, he'll do good 3 or 4 races, then he'll have 3 or 4 bad races. And, Bubba has shown, other than road courses, that he can compete on short tracks. He can compete on the intermediates and obviously the super speedways. Whereas 2 years ago, we weren't saying that about him. It was just the super speedways. And, I could see Bubba finishing 5th, or 4th. So to me, I mean, like, we could rank the drivers 5th to 12th. We know who they are, but like, I think it's very easy to take the 12th place driver and say he could be 5th, or the 5th place driver and say he could be 12th.
I don't disagree with anything you said at all, but here's where I'm at. I can't, like, based on what we've seen so far this year, how much win equity do you think Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Tyler Reddick make up in this race? Those 3 guys above the field, based on what we've seen so far this year. 45%.
I was going to say 33 to 40.
Like, I kind of feel like you just bet those 3 guys because they've been so good. And if you have to get on somebody in the race, you get on somebody in the race.
Yeah, I mean, for golf, I mean, I went with Denny and Larson, and then I put 23XI, Chevy, and JGR, which covers basically everybody.
And what were the starting odds that you got on JGR and 23XI?
You mean without the parlay?
Yeah.
165 or 170 and 500. The one that was the killer was Chevy at 130. Like I'm sitting well with Denny and I'm sitting well with Larson going into Sunday. After that, I've got to add. I don't have much for 23XI. I don't have much for Toyota. If it's not Denny, and I don't have much for JGR if it's not Denny.
Based on what, it's so hard.
Like I don't know. Like to me, this is one of the more predictable 1.5 mile races. It's HMS JGR and 23XI, and then throw in a couple of other. Briscoe might finish in the top 10, or Gregson might finish in the top 10, or Blaney or Logano. All 4 of them aren't, but 1 or 2 of them might. But I don't think they're going to be competitive for the win. And then, like Bowman, I think he can win here. He's had some good races here.
Yeah.
Gibbs has been fast in 1.5 miles. This could be his week.
Elliott's a wild card.
Yeah, Elliott is. I'm still not like enthralled with his results on the 1.5 mile, but I mean, he did good in this package last week, but it was Dover and it was on concrete, and that's his bread and butter. Like, I don't know how it's going to translate this week. So, he's a wild card, sort of like Chris Bell. Guy can't buy a break right now. I think he's had four issues in a row in races.
He was the fastest car on the track at the second race in Vegas in 2023, and the 21st fastest in the first race in Vegas at 2024.
Yeah, like remember though, like I don't think any of them Toyotas were fast, were they? In 2024 at the first Vegas race.
Denny 7, Reddick 2, Marty 4. Yeah,
I thought they always got off to a slow start though, but I mean, like Larson and Byron dominated that race, right?
Larson and
like they led almost every lap.
Yeah. Well, Larson was the fastest, and Reddick was the second fastest. That's what they have.
But Reddick didn't lead in the laps. I don't think. I think it was Byron, and I think it was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Larson.
But like Ty Gibbs, fifth, he top 5 speed at both Vegas and Texas this year. He could show up for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I don't know if he could win, but I mean, he could show up.
What do they have him at like now? 16.
Right now, Bet 365 has him at 14.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than the 8 and 9s that they were earlier, but I don't know.
Chris Buescher 35-1. Man, that guy he like flashes speed, or he's just a dead dog. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just really think that Kyle, like, part of me just wants to bet Kyle Larson.
I mean, the two best cars on the 1.5 mile are Denny and Kyle.
Yeah, I agree.
Clear cut.
I just think that what Reddick has done this year has been crazy, and you have to respect it. But I'm with you. Larson and Denny are the class, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
And I mean, Denny was really good on the 1.5 miles last year, but he's had issues, And we know when we get into the 1.5 miles, Larson's had issues too. So I know last year they had some tire issues still at this track. We really haven't seen tire issues this year. Randomly, you'll have one here or there. But, I think there were like 3, maybe 4 cars that blew some tires last year at this race.
I feel pretty confident saying that based on Alex Bowman's speed in this format, I do not think that he will be a factor to win the race. I feel pretty good about saying that we can cross him out. He's in the teens in speed at every race the last 2 years, but one.
Right, but what was that one? Vegas?
The one was the first Vegas race in 2023. He was third.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's why I wanted to cover the market with those bets, because if I got all of them through, I felt like, I would have to do very little, if any, live betting other than maybe double dipping. But, unfortunately it didn't work out. But fortunately it didn't work out that, the two that I the most did were the 2 best drivers.
Right. So I would say if we were steering people in a direction, this is what I would say. I would say if you're only going to bet drivers, I would just bet Kyle Larson, Denny, and Reddick. And I would try to get the numbers up on those guys. If you're not just going to bet drivers and you want to try to take Chevy and get the number up on that, or Toyota and get the number up on that, or like what Coop did with, if you want to take Gibbs to try to get all 4 and get the number up on that. There are options and ways that you can go if you don't just want to take the drivers. But if you do just want to take the drivers, you can't bet fucking 10. So I would say Larson, Denny, and Reddick are the class of the field. Stick with them. Or try to get some coverage. Maybe take 23XI, maybe take Gibbs, and maybe take Chevy. And just those 3. And try to get the number up there, like what Coop did. I guess I don't really hate that either. But you're gonna.
Well, I mean, I if I didn't have that Toyota ticket in my back pocket, I would have bet Toyota too, but I didn't need to.
Right. Right. But would you agree? Is that basically what you would say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably try to get Larson, Hamlin, and Reddick in the 10 to 12 range.
Right.
Somewhere in that ballpark. But I mean, Larson's 350 right now.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know, man. But you know what though, Coop? If that kind of price is warranted for anybody, I get why both those 2 guys are 4-1 this week.
I don't disagree. They should be the 2 favorites, but I still think they should be 5.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm with you. All right, so that's the direction we will go in the Cup market, boys. Quickly before we go over to Patreon, we'll talk about the trucks. So when I was talking to Coop on Tuesday, and I was like, man, there's 7 people that could win this fucking race. And Coop was like, I agree. And we basically were on the same fucking 7 or 8 guys. But fuck, man, I really don't want to bet 8 guys. But here's the deal. If we're being honest, right? Christian Eckes and Corey Heim, they should be the 2 favorites. It's almost impossible not to back them. So there's 2 guys. Nick Sanchez, we know how good he's been on 1.5 miles. Raj won 1.5 miles this year. We know how good he's been. Ankrum has been very solid at 1.5 miles this year. Taylor Gray, low key, might be having the best year of anybody on the track in the Truck Series. I love this kid, and I'm definitely backing him. I think he could win the race. But Coop, the first 8 got Eckes, Heim, Sanchez, Majeski, Zane, Raj, Ankrum, and Gray. Those 8 guys could all win the race.
Did you put Raj in there?
Yeah, I put Raj in there.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely could. I didn't do as well in trucks as what I did with the Cup. I can make a couple units here and there depending upon how it plays out, as long as one of the drivers wins. I'll probably be going back into it. I don't know when, but they're not going to have qualifying tomorrow. It's going to be set by, the formula.
Why? Why is it getting rained out?
Yeah, it's going to rain tomorrow morning. So
they're confident they'll get the race in though.
It's only supposed to rain in the morning and then like early afternoon. So the qualifying for Cup and practice for Cup and then the race should be good. But again, I'm not a weatherman. All right, but just going by what it says.
Yeah. Okay.
So that kind of leans me towards like Sanchez, Caruth, Eckes, and Ankrum because like they've been the best cars or trucks off the truck. Like we've seen Corey Heim struggle in practice.
Yeah.
We've seen, some of these other drivers like maybe Majeski.
What do you think about Taylor Gray? He's been pretty good off the truck, don't you think?
I mean, he's teammates with Heim, so they're probably going to be similar, But, I think we're going to see, a race where, the cars that start up front might not necessarily be the best cars. And we could see somebody who starts 14th or 15th come right through the field pretty quickly. And even if they come through the field pretty quickly, it doesn't mean they have the best truck because, once they go down pit lane after the first stage, they can make adjustments and some other can, jump on them. So it's going to be a tough race.
If you were going to rank your top 3 guys, right, would Eckes and Heim be in the top 2?
Yes.
Who would be your third guy? Raj?
I'm gonna make it hard. I really like Taylor Gray this week, man.
Let's go, cool.
I could see him winning this race, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So like I would probably have to put Sanchez third.
Fuck off. Right. Fuck off. Don't bring that energy. Don't bring that energy.
But then
we're vibing right now, bro.
But then after that, like Ankrum, Caruth, Gray, Zane, Majeski.
Zane and Majeski are wild cards in that group, I think.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I just think something about Taylor Gray this week.
I'm with you. I think we know what we're going to expect from Heim and Eckes. I think we know what we're going to expect from Raj and Sanchez because they've been so fast out front, right? But I'm with you, bro. I think Taylor Gray. I think it's his week.
I was just so elated that when I opened up the Discord and I saw I had a message from you,
it didn't say Ben Rhodes.
It didn't say, do you think Ben and Stu have a chance this week? I was just happy from there.
Hey, bro, listen, man. Ben Rhodes and don't forget our guy Grant. Our guy Grant's he hasn't been that bad here either.
Yeah. Like those are the 3. Like I just can't bet pre-race. I got to get them live, and I don't think there's a way that any one of them, even if they qualify well, that they would be 15-1 or worse. Hold on, let me pull it up and see how they're going to start.
I think Ankrum is an interesting one too. I'm with you because he's been just as fast as Eckes almost on these 1.5 miles. I'm with you there. I like Ankrum too, but
qualifying order
feels like Taylor Gray week.
Taylor Gray would be starting 4th.
Let's go. What would the order be?
Heim, Eckes, Sanchez, Taylor Gray, Zane, Majeski would be your top 6. Caruth would be 9th. Ben and Grant are going to start like mid-pack. Stu would start around 10th.
What about Ankrum?
Ankrum back in the 25th, somewhere in that ballpark.
So that top 6 has Zane and Majeski in it, huh?
Yeah.
They're wild cards because Zane's been great on mile and a half, and then Majeski was it Vegas or was it Texas?
Yeah, no, it was I think it was Vegas.
He was fast. He was fast. So I think I'm with you. Like I worry about.
Like I think if I haven't bet this and I had to bet it right now,
you're betting the top 6 guys.
Yeah. I mean, it won't take long for Raj to get up front if he has a good truck. Or, I wouldn't bet Ankrum knowing, that he's starting back that far. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see – it would not surprise me, all right, if we see Sanchez and Eckes dominate the first part of this race. Starting second and third.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
I just don't have a lot of confidence in Corey Heim and Taylor Gray off the truck. That's the only reason why. But once they haven't qualified good in some races and practiced good in some races, but once they got into the race, they were fine.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. It's gonna suck though, man, if like Zane doesn't have the truck and like we have to almost like respect bet him.
Well, the thing, Lane Riggs is starting, way in the back too. That guy just can't, walk without tripping over his own feet right now.
Yeah.
So do you think the odds go down on these? We got to bet them before, even if there's no qualifying practice. We still got to bet them prior.
It's the guys that we know are going to be in the first couple rows. Yeah, if there's not going to be any qualifying, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pull it up on my weather app here real quick. I'll read it to you. Hold on.
I don't even know what the best price. I saw 18-1 earlier in the week on Taylor.
Yeah, it says thunderstorms in the morning, then partly cloudy late. Chance of rain 90%. Now you look at the hourly. Let's look at the hourly.
Wow, Taylor Gray's down 9-1. Coop at Bet365. He was 18-1.
Yeah, 10 and 11. It starts 40% chance of rain, 45% chance of rain. I don't know. Maybe there's a big they don't qualify until 5 o'clock for practice until 5 o'clock. I think for Cup. If they get a clear forecast, maybe they push this back to 1 or something. If it goes through early, I don't know. To wait and see.
We can get 14-1 on him right now. That's like the best number that I see.
Taylor Gray?
Yeah. He was 18-1.
I think. I don't know.
It's so crazy that fucking Zane is 550.
I mean, they're just going off that, history.
Yeah.
He's been really good here. Really good.
He's 8-1 at Superbook, but can't really parlay anything at Superbook.
Sometimes you can. Did you try it?
I have to try. Can you?
There's certain things that they let you do and some that you don't.
All right, boys. We're going to head over to Patreon and go through all the betting markets for Cup and trucks this weekend. We'll be live in like 5 minutes for you guys on Patreon. So if you're going to bet individually, Larson, Hamlin, and Reddick feel like the play, or you can go the route and you could back Gibbs, you could back 23XI, and you could back Chevy, try to get the numbers up there. Trucks, we're probably going to bet the top 6 guys. It's probably what's going to happen. And we're going to hope for the best. Trucks, we could beat easier than Cup. All right, we'll be live in 5 minutes for you boys. Tomorrow, we'll be live from 6 o'clock till 1:30 in the morning on Patreon.
What?
Yeah.
1:30.
It's going to be late. We got a pay-per-view. Yeah, we got 2 pay-per-views. So we'll be live all night for you guys on Patreon tomorrow, and then Sunday we'll be live for the public on the YouTube channel for the cover.
Best pay-per-view starts tomorrow at 1, I think.
What's that?
Backlash.
Oh, fuck off. Goodbye. We'll see you on Patreon in 5 minutes. Later.